All right, here we've got the QRD Spark N5 wireless controller compatible with the PS4, PS3, PCs, and iOS and Android devices. So we're going to go ahead and unbox this, take a look at what it has to offer on here, and then we're also going to, of course, test this out. And we're going to jump in with Batocera on my gaming PC. We're going to see what the experience is like there on a bunch of different games and game collections. So it is packaged up very nicely. Great feel to this right off the bat. Let's see what comes with this, though. All right, so I'm going to move the box out of the way. So I believe this is a phone clip for the actual device. And let's take a look on the back side. Yep, perfect. So this can get mounted to the actual back side, or top side rather, of the device here. And we just simply insert it in here, and we should be able to push down. You see how it clicks into place. And then we could use this along with our phone right up here. This is extendable, so you can use this with a wide range of different phones. Play along with whatever you're playing on screen, of course, but we don't need that for today. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this. Now we have a power supply cable right here to keep this charged, and it's a USB-A to USB-C connection. So definitely has some length to it as well, so you could get pretty far away from where you're connecting this. Now we also have an instruction operating manual, so very extensive here, as you can see, and it goes through all of the functions, features, setup process, depending on what device you want to be using your controller with. So it is very thorough, and it's offered in a couple different languages, so that is great to see on here. Always looking for thorough instruction manuals, because that's not always the case. So let's take a look at the controller itself here. So right off the bat, I definitely get some PlayStation 4 vibes from it, just off of this part up here. Then, of course, the actual labeling of the buttons. But other than that, it actually feels very much like an Xbox style controller. So definitely has some crossover to it. Now, analog sticks here feel great. And a couple features of this would be Hall effect joystick, 6-axis gyroscope, 9-color LED lights, and programmable turbo and macro on here. So D-pad feels really good, and you can see the movement on here as I just kind of bounce around. Obviously, we have to test this in game, but it seems to be really great there, especially on those sort of diagonal navigations. Oftentimes, you'll have a really stiff D-pad that just does the up, down, left, and right functions well. This seems to really roll nicely and glide around. Buttons seem to be excellent. We have the options and share up here. Functionality up here on our top button. Center button here obviously powers it on, and you can see the different lights here. Now we also have dual analog sticks. Great roll to these, and that would be the Hall effect. So we also have a button down here, and backside, what I want to point out, of course, is the fact that we have our N1 and N2s back here, which you can see the design of those, how they do hang down. So if you're somebody that wants to utilize those, they feel really nice. These are probably the best, in all honesty. I don't use these a whole heck of a lot, but they're really easy to hit. A lot of other ones, they're built into the actual controller itself. They aren't, hanging outward like this. So in order to enable those, you really have to push in. With these, it's really a light touch that enables those. You can see as I'm just kind of moving back and forth there, I'm hitting those, and they really do feel quite nice. You obviously have to be somebody that wants to utilize those, though. I'm not sure that I'll actually use them a whole lot myself. Maybe I will with this controller, though. I've just never liked them on anything else. We also have a reset button over here, a set button, and we also have an audio jack located right in the bottom here, which is very convenient. I don't see these on a lot of PC controllers. So this is looking good so far. And then, of course, we've got our connection up here for our power supply cable, Type-C connection. Plugs in very easily, just like this. Other end, obviously, into either your PC, or if you have USB-A ports on your power outlets, you can go direct to those. So very easy there. Shoulder and trigger buttons, great action on those. They feel really comfortable. No sweet spot. Everything functions perfectly. There's no set spot where you have to hit it in order to, get the best action. Seems to be consistent throughout. Triggers feel really smooth as well. All right, so how you pair this and set this up is going to depend, of course, on what you're using it with. Now, today I'm using this on a PC, and we're going to actually try to pair this through Bluetooth. So I've held down my Q button here in the center and my share button over here. For 3 seconds, it enters pairing mode. So now on screen, you're gonna notice that I'm gonna open up my main menu here, like this, and we're gonna go down to controller and Bluetooth settings. We're gonna hit enter, and we're gonna go to pair Bluetooth device manually. And there's a couple different ways in Botticeria you can do this, but we're gonna go with manually here. And we're gonna go to wireless controller down here at the bottom. And you'll see it says, please wait. And there you can see at the top of our screen, it says wireless controller connected. We're no longer seeing any flashing on here. And up and down, you can see we're able to control on screen. So I'm going to back out of this and we're going to map this now. So we can go back into our main menu, and I'm going to do this off camera on my keyboard because currently this is not mapped yet. So we'll go into controller and Bluetooth settings and controller mapping right here. We'll confirm it with OK. It says one gamepad detected since we've connected this via Bluetooth connection. I'm just going to hold down my X button. And now we're going to go ahead and map each of the functions that you see on screen to the buttons that you see here on this controller. So east is going to be our circle, south is going to be our X, north is going to be our triangle, and west is going to be our square. For start, I'm going to go with the options button. For select, I'm going to go with the share button, and then D-pad up, down, left, and right. Pretty self-explanatory there. Left shoulder, left analog up, left analog left, right analog up, right analog left, and then left trigger, left stick press, right stick press, and then for hotkey, I'm going to just double up on the share button, which will be select. So that means that start and select together will be what I do to use my hotkey enable function, which would be to exit games and go back to your main menu. So we can confirm everything with X, and we should be good to go here. So we'll dive into some games and see what the controller's experience is like on here. All right, guys, we jumped in, we checked out the QRD Spark N5 wireless controller here with a bunch of different games and game collections. And the first thing that I want to talk about here is compatibility. This is huge on this particular controller because we can use this with such a wide range of different setups and devices. We can use this on a PS3 console, a PS4 console, we can use this on our PC, as well as Android and iOS devices. So I have a stack of controllers that I'm constantly having to remember what I use each controller with because the compatibility is so limited. Oftentimes they are going to be for PC or they're going to be for a specific console. Usually, we're not able to jump into such a wide range of different devices, and we are here. So this is something that is super convenient with this controller. And for somebody like me that games on a bunch of different setups, it's awesome to be able to just grab one controller, regardless of what setup I decide to jump into, and use it. Now, we also have the ability to connect either wired in or connect via Bluetooth. And I chose Bluetooth today because I actually opened up the manual and it was recommending connecting the cable for PC usage. And I wanted to jump into Bluetooth. I wanted to test out what the performance was like there, because one thing that always kind of makes me hesitant about using a Bluetooth controller is the connection. Sometimes we're able to connect right away. Sometimes we have to go through that Bluetooth pairing process multiple times. And sometimes it will still just cut out and seemingly just disappear altogether. And that is the most frustrating thing for me, to have a controller Bluetooth paired, ready to go, map it, jump into a game, and then halfway through that game, it cuts out and we no longer have a connection. Usually we have to go through the process of repairing it, which is just a frustrating thing to have to go through. So when I went into these games that you saw here, I jumped into them, and a couple times I actually just powered off to see if that would throw things off here rather than shutting down the proper way. Because I wanted to test out that connection, I wanted to test out whether that Bluetooth connection was stable and reliable, and it was. I never had to go in and repair. As soon as I rebooted into Batocera on this PC, I simply hit the power button on my controller and it instantly registered, connected, just like you saw on screen when we went through the initial setup process. So very reliable on here, and that is something that is absolutely amazing. Now, in terms of functionality and performance of the actual controls on the controller, everything ran and performed perfectly. Buttons were very responsive, excellent action on everything, no binds, no awkward feelings anywhere on here. I also love the shoulder buttons because the shoulder buttons perform regardless of where you actually hit them. Shoulder buttons are much larger, they have a longer surface. So what I've experienced in the past with other controllers is there's a sweet spot. There's a spot where it performs best if you hit it. With this particular controller, it doesn't matter if you hit it up at the top, the bottom, or dead center in the middle of the shoulder button. It performs perfectly in all of these places, which is good because everybody has different size hands. Everybody's not going to be hitting it in the exact same spot. So you want it to be able to perform perfectly no matter where it's being hit. One other thing I think is absolutely amazing about this particular controller is the Hall effect joysticks. They're super responsive, very smooth, very easy to use. You navigate exactly where you want to go. When you want to go there, there's no lags or delays. There's no overcorrecting, which you saw in the racing game that we dove into here. It is just 100% smooth on here, and I love the way that they feel. I've used a lot of analog sticks on a lot of different controllers, and this is definitely one of the best, one of the smoothest to navigate with. So love this controller. I'm going to put a link up here at the top of your screen as well as in the description here, but I'm actually going to be picking up 2 more of these because I want to have one that I can leave on my desk for regular gaming, but I'm also working on modding my arcade 1-up cabinet, and I was going to go with wired controllers whenever I want to maybe add in some extra players that can game along with controllers rather than the onboard controls. And I was going to go that route because I didn't have a good Bluetooth controller that was really reliable. I've used some in the past, but again, I experienced a lot of weird issues with the signal or them just disconnecting altogether. So this is something that I feel is 100% reliable to the point where I want to incorporate it into that arcade 1-up modification. So again, click those links, get some additional information if you're in need of a good controller. That is going to do it for today, though. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the content today, please give me a thumbs up on the video. It's a huge help to me here on YouTube. And of course, hit subscribe to stay in the loop for all future videos. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you on the next video.